What DAWs not to use in 2025? That sounds like it may be interesting and controversial. Okay, that one's funny. All right, DAWs. Okay, everybody's saying DAWs.
All right, guys, I thought I'd make a really quick video today since
This guy's haircut's insane.
I have a little bit of coffee left, and I got a comment asking me to create a video on DAWs, and I just changed the DAW that I normally use. So
all these sound clickbaity and dry. Welcome to music production YouTube. They're all that way.
I'm gonna give you my perspective, which is a little bit technical, on all the DAWs that are available today, since there's a lot of information on YouTube and it can get really confusing. So hopefully the information that I give you in this video will help you at least a little bit.
He talks like someone. I can't figure out who it is. Who does he talk like? He talks like someone. It's Johnny Bravo. That's funny.
Decide on which DAW you should use. Grab a cup of coffee. You can grab a beer or tea or whatever the fuck you want and spend the next few minutes.
Okay, thank you for the instructions.
Listening to a guy sitting on a ball, yes, a yoga ball, talking about DAWs.
This guy seems really high or something, or drunk or something.
So what I did, I opened ChatGPT and I asked ChatGPT to list the most popular DAWs. And now
No, it's not White Sea Studio, it's someone else.
Of the most popular DAWs, and I'm just gonna comment on each and every one of these DAWs and just give you my perspective. And the cool thing about this is that I'm not sponsored by any of these companies, and I don't need to promote.
I watched this video this morning, knows nothing about DAWs. Okay, this sounds great then. This sounds right up my alley.
Any of these DAWs, I will just give you my perspective. I may not be right.
Mixbus TV, maybe.
Right about everything. I don't know everything about every DAW, but I do have experience.
Bro, that's crazy, dude. So you're saying you're telling us right off the bat, you might not know everything about it, but you're gonna tell us which ones not to use. Which one's not to use, by the way. I also may not know very much about it.
Experience with a lot of them. One more thing, I will not be discussing the prices much. I understand that different DAWs cost different amounts of money, so basically you can pick and choose what you can afford, or if you...
That's, I mean, that's kind of a really important factor.
You want to pay at all for a DAW. So the first one in the list is Ableton Live. It says great for electronic music, live performance, loop-based production. This is absolutely true, but it's worth saying that it is not impossible to do other things in Ableton Live. I used Ableton Live for a very long time now, and the reason why I was using Ableton Live is mainly because it's a lightweight program, it is stable, and it pretty much works all the time. I used Pro Tools before with Ableton Live, like I would use Ableton Live for some MIDI stuff and Pro Tools for like mixing, but then I just figured I would just use Ableton Live and do everything over there. I would say it's a great software.
Oh, checkmate Pro Tools users, you're done for.
But the reason why I moved from Ableton Live is primarily I was searching for something that could handle multi-core processing, because I'm not necessarily an Apple fan, and I do have a different configuration of my PC, so I was searching for something else. There were some minor things that were bugging me in Ableton Live because the whole software is sort of developed for
yeah, no, this is a stupid debate, but I want to hear, I also want to hear, I kind of want to hear stupid. I want to hear stupid. I want to argue with stupid.
Electronic music and live performance, as it says here, and it's sort of pushing you to work in this quantized way, but there are obviously a lot of workarounds, and yeah, for people who are...
It's pushing you to work in this quantized way. I mean, no more than any other DAW, I would say, right? Like, what?
Used to using like a typical DAW layout, Ableton Live is slightly different, which is not...
Nah, it's not even that I'd like to argue, but it makes for better content. It makes for better content to watch with something I disagree with than to watch something that's just, you know, a vanilla take that there's nothing to say about.
Not a huge problem, but you get used to it very quickly. I wouldn't count that as a problem, but maybe for some people it would not be the right choice. The second thing in the list is FL Studio. I used Fruity Loops back in the day, kind of tried it, and it says here popular for EDM, hip hop, and beat making. And I would say that this software is exactly used for that, and that's a group of people who should be using this software because it has a lot of features that are sort of adapted for people making beats, especially for hip hop. But FL Studio is much more powerful than Fruity Loops, so it's not... FL Studio is much more powerful than Fruity Loops, so it's not like a low-end beginners type of...
Wait, what? What do you mean by that? FL Studio is much more powerful than Fruity Loops? I mean, I guess it is. Do you know what FL Studio stands for?
Software, it's actual real DAW that can do everything. So if you're in that kind of music, maybe FL Studio would be the right thing. Moving on, we get
Wait, what, dude? Wait, when was it called Fruity Loops? That was a long time ago, though, right?
Logic Pro, which says Apple's professional DAW, widely used for music production. Absolutely. Since I don't use Apple, I actually don't use.
I will say this: Fruity Loops does hit harder than FL Studio.
Logic, I did try it. Logic is great. Like most of these products by Apple, software actually works great, and I can see that a lot of people who are working on Apple stuff, they use Logic, and there's not much to be said other than that this is the professional way to go, especially if you're working on some type of Apple device.
What? Wait, what? Wait, what, dude? Wait, hold on a second, dude. Did he like look up AI? Like, is this like AI overview shit? So, you know, the way to go if you're using a Mac is to use, you want to use Logic. You want to use Logic, basically, if you use a Mac. You know, frankly, I'm not sure if anything else works on a Mac.
Working on Apple stuff, they use Logic.
Wait, let me hear this again, bro.
Be the right thing. Moving on, we get to Logic Pro, which says Apple's professional DAW, widely used for music production. Absolutely. Since I don't use Apple, I actually don't use Logic. I did try it. Logic is great, like most of these.
Wait, did he actually say he's reading a ChatGPT script? I missed that part if you said that, because that's really fucking dumb. You should not be doing that. And people will argue that AI is like amazing. It's like changing everything. It's giving a lot of people wrong information.
Products by Apple, software actually works great, and I can see that a lot of people who are working on Apple stuff, they use Logic, and there's not much to be said other than that this is the professional way to go, especially if you're working on some type of Apple device. And yeah, Logic is definitely the way to go. Moving on, Cubase, a powerful...
Bro, what is it with these people using this like fucking... They're doing this transition, or it's just like, it's literally an intro card, but they're using it as a transition. It's like they don't know what it's supposed to be for.
DAW for composers, producers, and engineers. Well, Cubase is extremely popular. It's very popular with older people because they're sort of used to Cubase because it's one of the older ones.
Cubase is for old people? Never heard that one before. I feel like if anything, you could say about Pro Tools maybe, or... Reason's pretty old too. A lot of them are pretty fucking old, really. Except for like Bitwig. Yeah, I don't know, bro. Like what? What?
Personally, I don't prefer Cubase, and I will tell you why now. Cubase has a lot of bugs. Every time I would go to someone's studio, and for the older guys in the studios, I would just fix around stuff with the software. Just Cubase sometimes just doesn't render plugins well. The problem is when you develop a software in the 90s and all the way to 2025, you're basically only expanding and upgrading and fixing stuff. You come to a point where stuff gets buggy. Now, as far as I know, Cubase had like a...
I've never used Cubase, so I can't call him out on this, but this doesn't sound correct.
Complete overhaul of the engine in 2006. I have no idea how that was done, but the fact is that I don't honestly like Cubase. It is slow, it is cumbersome, it has a lot of bugs. That's my experience. You might be completely...
It has a lot of bugs, and that was my experience.
With your Cubase, I would just never use Cubase. There are so many better solutions than Cubase. But I get it. People like it because it's familiar.
Who is telling them to do this? There's gotta be one guy out there telling them to fucking make these intro cards and then use them as transitions between sections of their video to make them longer or something. Because I've never seen this before today. And I've seen 2 videos today doing this. And this is insane to me. Because I would say intro cards in general are fucking bad. You shouldn't do that in your video. Like it's just lame. You know, it's just lame. Like sometimes it may work for like a stream highlight or something. But bro, to put it between like every section of your video, it's crazy. It's bad. It's just bad, dude.
Now Reaper.
Yeah, it just doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense. It would make sense to do an outro or an intro. And that is it.
Reaper is like, it's like people who drive an Alfa Romeo over here. You either hate it or you only drive an Alfa Romeo. So Reaper is extremely good in the sense because it was developed by some really smart people. It is very...
Oh, okay. I would say honestly all the DAWs were developed by really smart people, but yeah.
Modular. It is fast, lightweight, it is stable, and I'd say that Reaper is an extremely good solution for people who are into this kind of stuff. Like, it's also rated written here is
What? Wait, hold on a second. What do you say?
a solution for people who...
You know what? Maybe, Casey, if you edit the second channel video, we need our own intro cards, okay? We need our own intro cards between each section of the video. Maybe put one right here. Check out my mixtape.
Who are into this kind of stuff. Like, it's also written here, it's budget friendly. I would say that Reaper is a really, really good DAW. Some people complain it's a little bit like older looking and that kind of stuff, but it's like, hey, come on. You know, I'd say that that is not a problem because Reaper does things extremely well. It is programmed extremely well at its core.
And I'm just like, oh, people are like, oh, it looks all bad. I'm like, oh, come on, guys.
That is something
was a good imitation there, guys.
That I really pay attention to, especially if I'm choosing.
Like, the crazy thing about this is there's no technical details that tell you like what's good or bad about specific ones. You know, like I feel like that's what you actually should put in this video. You don't just like say personal anecdotes with like no time reference, and like there's no detail either. It's weird. It's really weird. It is kind of like he's just making shit up or something. I don't know.
A DAW in 2025. Moving on, Studio One.
It does say a technical perspective too, but to be fair, his channel's called Slightly Technical. So I don't know which one to believe. Is it slightly technical or is it a technical perspective?
Known for its workflow speed and ease of use. Well, Studio One is something that I used just on...
I feel like FL Studio would be known for its workflow speed.
One occasion, it seemed absolutely fine. It seemed like a newer software, which was like a little bit more modern at the time. I think I tried it last time, like round about like 8-9 years ago. I'd say that it is a great solution as being like a more modern software, but I honestly,
I would say they're all modern software, at least the ones he's all showed so far.
Not right about this, but I haven't seen a lot of people use it. And then you have this problem where we're coming to the industry standard things. If you're working with multiple people on a certain project, you sort of have to adapt to the software that everybody is using, so you...
Okay, so I shouldn't use any of these is what you're saying. Which one should I use then?
Can share the projects and that kind of stuff. By the way, if you find this information useful, please click on the like button and donate your subscription to me, because it's free. You can take it back anytime. And check out the Slightly Technical Academy at slightlytechnicalacademy.com, because that's my website.
Bro. Slightlytechnicalacademy.com. What do you learn there? What do you learn? I wonder what we're going to learn there, dude. I'm really curious what we're going to learn there. Are we going to get more hot gyms like this?
And I'm creating a community of people who are willing to learn some...
I feel bad for hating this bad, but this is just like truly awful content. No, I'm not gonna hit the dislike button, but this is truly awful content. This is really bad. Like, at least it's edited, but god damn, bro. God damn. How do you not watch this back and be like, you know what? I should just do this whole thing over. We got to start over here, dude.
And there's a lot of great content coming up, so go check that stuff out.
This is actually amazing. I'm really starting to like this.
Now, coming to Pro Tools.
Like, bro, this is like this may be the biggest grifting of all time. Like, if you think AP mastering is a grifter, no, this guy's got it in the bag, bro. He's trying to get your money, and he's trying to do little to no research at all. Sorry, what am I saying? No research at all.
Without any research.
Something that I actually used before. It says here, professional standard for recording, mixing, and...
I felt bad kind of hating on this guy because he's only got 1.9 thousand subs, but this is also like, you shouldn't be putting this shit out. This is crazy, dude.
Post-production, yes it is. Whenever you watch a YouTube video, a lot of these famous mixers in the studios, they would use Pro Tools. The main reason for that is Pro Tools has been around for like 30 years or over 30 years, and Pro Tools has been extremely good. And yeah, it kind of is a production standard, and it is also not. It may be a production standard in some of these studios where people who have been in the industry for a long time have been working and using...
Guys, you should use Pro Tools. Say it's extremely good, and it's been around for like 30 years. Anyways, make sure to check out my academy. Huh? Seriously, no, seriously, dude.
Using Pro Tools, which is absolutely fine, but they're used to that, and why would they change? If you are not in that kind of business, you are not restricted that you should use Pro Tools. That would be at least my take on it. Because Pro Tools has some downsides. The first big downside of Pro Tools, it's extremely slow and cumbersome. And it has similar issues with Cubase because Pro Tools has also been programmed back in the 90s. Yes, it allegedly had a complete revamp of the engine with version 11 as far as I read, but Pro Tools still is sort of like a slow and cumbersome software, which I would say that is really inferior compared to a lot of newly programmed DAWs, which work better with newer hardware and have support for more modern hardware features. And again, it's also worth mentioning that Pro Tools is also like really shit for MIDI stuff. It is really great for mixing huge projects, and if you have a lot of channels and that kind of stuff,
Bro. How is Pro Tools any better at mixing larger projects? Like, there's like not a single, there has not been any detail on this video. Like, he'll like say some stuff and it's like really vague. There's like nothing to back up anything. It's crazy. I mean, yeah, like, why is it bad for MIDI? Why is it great for large projects? You can put a lot of tracks in any of these. Yeah, why is it good for large projects if it's all true?
Tools is sort of the standard.
Like, this kind of, sorry to pause again. This kind of stuff is actually dangerous. Like, I'm not saying like dangerous like you're gonna get hurt. Like, I'm saying like it's dangerous because like people who are just getting into music production, they might watch this fucking video and then they're just like, oh, well, Pro Tools is good for big projects, but it's slow. I don't want to be slow. You know, you're not really like providing any valuable information. It's kind of just, you kind of just fucking, like, if this is a troll, this is actually a really good one.
It's very familiar. And yeah, one more thing worth mentioning is a lot of people don't like the fact that Pro Tools doesn't have VST support because they're sort of, it's just the company thing because they're sort of pushing their own plugin wrappers. So you're sort of limited to using only AAX plugins, and a lot of people dislike that. So yeah, it is industry standard, but unless you're sort of going to or working with Sunset Sound or some of the bigger studios, I'd say a lot of people don't use Pro Tools anymore. Now we do have Nuendo over here.
You know what I think it is, bro? This is, you know what this is a result of? So in YouTube, there's like a little tab that shows you trending topics in your niche. And then I bet you like one of the things that's trending right now is probably the DAW rankings. One, because I did a video on it, and two, like there's other people that have been doing videos on it too. Like, and I'm pretty sure this guy got recommended this and he's like, oh shit, I better try to do a video on that. I don't know if he uploads daily, but it seems like he might upload daily. And I think if I had to guess, it's like a combination of this shit.
Which is something that is sort of like,
I don't think this is rage bait. This is not. If it is, it's like some expert trolling here.
Similar to Cubase, but I guess it's used by some people who are working in, it's also written here, working in game audio and that kind of stuff. Cubase was generally oriented towards, I think it started with Nuendo, I can't remember this now, but it was oriented towards MIDI, where Pro Tools was actually a software that was oriented towards actual mixing, and that was kind of the biggest difference between them, at least when they started expanding on all of this software.
I actually have done music production YouTuber rankings, but the thing is I didn't rank anyone under 50,000 subscribers because I wanted to like give people a chance to like I feel like if you get ranked as like, okay, first of all, like let's say we rank this guy, he's got 2,000 subs, you put him in like the F tier, right? It's like you're not like really giving him a chance to like grow and like become great if he were to become great. But I have done that before a few years ago. Maybe it's time to do another one.
All this software basically does the same thing, just in a slightly different way, and it's really subjective on what people like, what people don't like. Going further, we have the digital performer, which is highly specialized for people actually.
So wait, the Nuendo one, like what was that? Was he talking about something else there? I don't even know. Like, I don't know what was going on in the Nuendo one.
Working with MIDI compositions and stuff, because it can also display notes and stuff like that. So people using digital performer actually know why they're using a digital performer. So if you're not a composer per se, usually someone who has some kind of background education and that kind of stuff, I guess this software would not be the first choice for you. Then we're coming to the Bitwig Studio, which is something
I want to look at this guy. I need to look into this guy's channel.
That I switched
He mentioned nothing. Yeah, there was nothing to really grasp onto.
And I'm actually really happy about it. It says here a modular and experimental DAW for electronic music and sound design. And I
can't believe you're playing this video, bro. This is the most entertaining video of the day, actually, I think.
Disagree with what's written over here, because I'd say that Ableton Live is more like towards electronic music and sound design and stuff like this. Bitwig does everything. I find that it's a great bridge between Ableton Live, because allegedly it was developed by people who left Ableton. So it's like the better version, the newer and better version.
Well, I mean, for sure with that. But wait, hold on a second. What did you just say?
Happy about it. It says here a modular and experimental DAW for electronic music and sound design. And I would disagree with what's written over here, because I'd say that Ableton Live is more like towards electronic music and sound.
How is Bitwig not towards electronic music
design and stuff like this? Bitwig does everything.
How do all these DAWs not do everything? Dude, this is a paid Bitwig shill. That's what I think this is, bro. This is a paid Bitwig shill.
I find that it's a great.
This is undisclosed sponsorship here, guys. We gotta call the FBI on this. We need to call the FTC. We need to get him in here.
Between Ableton Live, because allegedly it was developed by people who left Ableton. So it's like the better version, the newer and better version of Ableton Live. It has some of the Ableton Live elements, but then on the other hand, when I tried it, I was like, yeah, it's like somewhere in between Pro Tools and Ableton Live, because all the things that Ableton lacked, at least for me, Bitwig seems to have, but it also has pretty much all the features that Ableton has. I understand that Bitwig is a little bit...
I mean, technically, like, he's not super wrong in this section, except for the electronic music thing. That's totally wacky.
In its early days, and doesn't have all the features of Ableton Live.
I feel like maybe he knows about this one in particular because he uses this one now. He said he does, right?
But pretty much it works great, and main thing why I switched over is because it has great support for multi-core processors and stuff like that, which in practice, at least for my system, end up being much faster, much smoother running. It is lightweight.
Oh my god, I didn't notice the evil Marshall amp until now.
It just works great. So
no, he sounds like Mixbus TV. I don't think he sounds like Bad Gear.
I'm extremely happy with Bitwig Studio, but I completely understand if people want to run with something a little bit more classic. But I didn't even mention all the stuff that Bitwig has, like Ableton Live has a bunch of these like really cool plugins and instruments and that stuff, which sounds really, really great. So yeah, I'd say that Bitwig is currently my go-to, and I would definitely recommend it to everyone who is starting out and choosing a DAW for...
Dude, this is a paid Bitwig shill. There is no other way, dude. That's the only way I can explain this video, dude. Paid Bitwig shill. 100%.
For a first time, I'd say you don't need to suffer with the old software. Just go with the newer stuff and support that thing. That would be my...
Oh, hold on, wait, what did he say? That was an amazing sentence.
Everyone who is starting out and choosing a...
Bro, it really is like he's on like coke and shrooms or something. It's like he's like fucking like trying to like, he's like going through something. He's trying to focus. He's trying to like retain his focus on like reality, but he's really struggling. He's really struggling.
Plugins and instruments and that stuff, which sounds really, really great. So yeah, I'd say that Bitwig is currently my go-to, and I would definitely recommend it to everyone who is starting out and choosing a DAW for a first time. I'd say you don't need to suffer with the old software. Just go with the newer stuff and support that thing. That would be my take on it.
What the fuck, dude? Bro, this is the wackiest video I've ever... Probably one of the wackiest ones I've ever seen. Maybe not the wackiest. Oh, nothing against drugs. Just don't do them and record a video. All right, you gotta be sober if you're doing a video. You're gonna look insane. You're gonna look and sound insane.
And we also have DAWs for specific niches. So there is Reason, known for its built-in rack system and virtual instruments. Yeah, as far as I know, I never actually used Reason, but...
Bro, this Reason section is less than 20 seconds.
I never actually used Reason, but I know some people who have been using this. This is usually people who work with highly sophisticated instrument racks and that kind of stuff. I would also say, like with the Digital Performer, people who are using Reason, there is a reason for using Reason. That was funny. And there's also...
Oh my god, dude. That was the Reason section, guys. It was like 2 sentences with like nothing. There was nothing of substance there. No, there was Reaper.
Traction.
It was a little funny.
Waveform. And it's like, I saw that one. I was really impressed. It looked really good. And it also says that it's free on the website. It says that it's completely free, which is something that I was... like a fully featured DAW that does everything for free. Well, we don't have any credibility to complain about things like that. It is modern, it looks great, it is free, it does all the stuff that the other ones do. So it is something that for beginners I would recommend. Just try something like this. Try these free ones and then see if you need to move on to a different one. And I don't think that anybody should be afraid of moving to a different DAW. I think it takes only, you know, from 1 hour to a day to sort of adapt yourself to the new system. So I wouldn't be afraid of that. I know that a lot of people, especially people who are not into, you know, PCs and
it's free on the website. I'm not sure if I really trust that though.
Hardware and that kind of stuff. They're a little bit afraid of changing their workflow, but I'd say that's not a huge problem. Be brave about it.
Bro, that was something, dude. That was something, dude. Hold on a second. I need to watch this channel more. Bro, I've never seen him before this, but unfortunately, it seems like it's more so like guitars and amps. Bro, this card is just everywhere in here, bro. Just mouse over and you see it. All right, bro. I don't think I've seen a single DAW ranking video that wasn't worth this. Yeah, it's just there's no way to do it unless you spend a ton of time learning each one, the ins and outs of it, and nobody has the time to do that. And if they do, they're not gonna have time to make any other videos anytime before or after that. Well, I guess before, but not after it.
Check out my mixtape.